Hey guys, how's it going? I am supposed to be going to a birthday dinner and it's a miracle because I am early. That never happens. So, if I look like a little more dolled up, it's because I'm going to a birthday dinner. Um, but I thought I should do this video because I've wanted to do it for a couple days and I think it's good. It's a good video. So, for a couple years, I have been seeing a therapist, and she's probably like a little bit more alternative than like, it's definitely not talk therapy. So she uses a few different modules, and I've actually mentioned her before because she's wrote a book, and I had linked the link to it in one of my other videos, and I can link it in this one as well because I think her work is just incredible. And essentially in the world of like manifesting and spirituality, she essentially uses revision, but like in a very specific way, like usually in our childhood memories, which I think is like awesome. It works so well for me. I see huge results with that. And she does essentially a like an inner dialogue addressing our different parts and fragments of ourselves. And so I've kind of taken, now this isn't what she does in therapy, but I've kind of taken it and applied it to manifesting. And holy smokes, if you are somebody who wavers or is very fearful or anxious or like has a hard time letting go of the old story, this like changed my emotional well-being while manifesting, because sometimes it's so overwhelming to tell yourself like everything's okay when your inner system is like, no, it's not, nothing's okay, because we don't want to go through this pain again. And if you are somebody who has gone through trauma, so my therapist is a trauma specialist, and yeah, I could see how like manifesting would be extremely triggering for somebody with trauma, because you've probably seen the worst and now you're expecting the best out of life, and your brain is like, no. So anyways, and I struggled with that for years with manifesting. So so this is what I've been doing to like soothe those anxieties and those triggers and the wavering. And this works with anything. Like I use it with anything and everything, little things, big things. So let's say you grew up in a poor. So I don't know why it took so long to whatever. Okay. Let's say you grew up poor. So you've never experienced money, and you probably have so many triggers around money, your housing, your car, anything associated with bills, groceries, insurance, like all of those things can be so triggering. It's not just that you don't make enough money, it's that your whole life is influenced by your income and your ability to create wealth. Okay, so many layers, so many ways to get triggered. So if you're telling yourself, oh yeah, I make whatever, $100,000 a year, $100,000 a month, your brain is going to be like, no the fuck we don't. And like, we're not getting our hopes up because in the past we've been hurt by not having money, so you can't tell us that we do have money. It's essentially what your brain is trying to protect you. Okay. And even sometimes, like in manifesting, like I've listened to, coaches, and they'll say, don't do a quantum jump into like your dream life, like living in the end, whatever, $15 million in my bank. You need to do something incremental. And I always was like, but I've seen quantum jumps, and I just don't think that it has to be incremental. I've heard somebody call it like the ladder method. You just incrementally go up. Well, no, I don't want to do that. I want $15 million in my bank account now. Okay, so you're deciding and you're whatever, visualizing, affirming. You're like, okay, now I am the person that has $15 million in my bank account. And I can pretty much instantly like feel the anxiety come up, or the fear come up, or an uneasiness. And so in the past, I think I would just try to like stay in like the God state, or like Christ consciousness, or like in my highest self version of myself. And I would get kicked out like within 24 hours. Like I would be like, my brain would be like, nope. And it's really like a bummer, because like if you're if you're like meditating and you're like high vibe and you're feeling good, you're like, yes, of course I have $15 million in my bank account. Like you can feel it, and you're like, I'll never come down from this feeling, and then you come down from the feeling like pretty fast. So it's like disheartening, and it's like you're wavering and whatever. So essentially what I have done to soothe myself, and I took this from a module in therapy, and kind of just modified it, and holy crap, it is so effective. Anytime, whether I'm affirming or in my regular life or visualizing or whatever, when I feel that fear come up and I'm like, ooh, this doesn't feel good, like this feels yucky, like I don't like this feeling, I will literally address it and say, okay, first I'll address the emotion. It's either usually fear, anxiety, or doubt, or all three. So I'll say, and again, this is probably a very like soft version of like what I've heard some people like how they address this, or if they even do address it. This is a very soft woo version, so just stick with me. I will say, I'll just be like quiet by myself, internally or externally. I'll be like, thank you so much for being here. I know you've been with me my whole life, and I know you're just here out of protection, and I appreciate you for being here and always being here and always looking out for me. But now I'm coming from my highest version, my God state, my Christ consciousness, however you want to put it. I put my highest self. I'm coming from my highest self now, and it's safe. Being here is safe. Believing these things are safe. Believing that I have $15 million in my bank account is safe. And not only is it safe, we deserve it, and we're worthy of this. And we are welcome in this dimension. We're welcome in this version of reality, however you want to say it. We're welcome here. We're accepted here. And we don't have to be fearful anymore, and there's nothing to be afraid of. And I start feeling like rooted and grounded, and I take a deep breath, and like, ooh, the peace and the love and the gratitude. I mean, I just don't even, I can't like not smile. I can't not get an emotional reaction from this. And so usually it goes away really fast. And I just say, thank you for being here. I'm going to protect you from now on. And I'm so sorry in the past that I couldn't protect you. Okay, great. If I still feel a little tightness in my chest or anxiety, fear, wherever it shows up in your body, uneasiness, I'll go through it again. And I'll say, do you want to show me where you originated from? And you might get a visual or a memory. And I'll go in as my highest self and say, thank you for showing me this. When this happened, it was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to happen to us. That wasn't meant for us. We are in the wrong place at the wrong time, meaning wrong place, wrong time, meaning wrong reality, meaning wrong dimension. That's not what we were created for. And I'll say, essentially, this is like a bad dream. This is like a bad memory. And also, when I say, do you want to show me where this originated from? I'll also say a memory that was either perceived or real. Because I don't want to solidify my past memories if they're traumatic or troublesome. So I'm giving my mind the opportunity to realize maybe this isn't the truth. Maybe we don't have to ground and bed into this as truth. So I'll say, do you want to show me the memory, perceived or actual, where you originated from? And I will, okay, you didn't deserve that. That was never meant for you. That's not what you were created for. That's not what you're meant for. And as my highest self, if, you know, it's kind of like interpretive when these things, this is like a more deep meditative place that you might be in. This isn't a quick self-soothe. Hey, you know, don't worry, it's safe now. Like we're welcome in this other dimension. This is probably you're gonna be like eyes closed, meditative. So you can kind of be like interpretive with it and kind of like go with the flow with it. If that version of you that experienced this needs a hug or needs something, give it to them. That's like really deep work. I've never had to go super deep into this, but I could see how if you had never done this work before, you might have to go deep and give yourself like essentially you're going to revise the origin of where this negative emotion came from that's trying to protect you in the, you know, from going through these things again and keep you safe. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. You give yourself what you need, send you lots of love, whatever. And usually I'll say, okay, do you feel safe now? Do you want to come into this dimension with me now? Meaning the version that I have $15 million, or I have my SP, or I have my house, my car, my whatever. Do you feel safe coming here now? And usually it's very seamless. And I'm like, this is for all of us. Like you all my parts of me, the negative parts, the sad, the happy, you guys all get to come and experience peace. You guys all get to come and experience joy. You guys all get to come with me. And this is the reality that we were created for, and this is what we're meant for. And I'm so sorry in the past that we ended up in situations that we weren't meant for us. But thank you for being here. Thank you for protecting me up until here. Me as my highest self, I have it from now. Me as my God state, I have it now. Me from my Christ consciousness, I'm taking over from now. And you can really feel the release. If there was sadness, it's released, fear, anxiety. This is, I mean, the amount of money I pay to have my therapist do this with me is in a different, it's not in a manifesting way, it's in a whatever, but I mean, this is like just a snippet of what we do, but holy moly, just with the manifesting aspect, complete ease. I'm like rooted and grounded in these new dimensions, new identities so fast. I'm so happy, I'm so calm, and I honestly think like peace and calm are what manifest the fast. I honestly think that's how we like get we bring things in the fastest, is when we're like calm, we're just chilling, and I can just feel my like all that stuff ease, and it's usually like good. But even like in public today, I was at the gym and I had something triggered me, and it's funny, as I did this, the triggers got more and more obscene. I'm like, oh, you really don't want to let go. It could be the ego, it could be a place of protection, whatever it is. It's like things that wouldn't even trigger me in the past. It was almost like grasping at strings, if you will. When I was at the gym, I was like, I can't believe that triggered me. I'm like, that's not even, it doesn't even make sense. Okay, so anyways, so I just said in my head, I know in the past you've been in situations where that could have been interpreted as a threat, and thank you so much for being there for me, and thank you so much for making me aware of it now, but we're actually safe now, and that's actually not a problem. And not only is it not a problem, but we are worthy and deserving of being in the reality where that thing, you name it, fill in the blank, it is not a threat. It's not a problem. In fact, we have the opposite. We have this good thing happening and this good thing happening, and it's safe and it's trustworthy, and this is what you're created for, and this is what you're meant for, and this reality is safe, and this is reality for you, and you could just feel it melt away, and you can feel yourself grounding in it, and it's just beautiful. Now this is a little soft, it's a little woo-woo. For sure, this was not my, like when I first started doing this 3 years ago, this shit made me cringe, like being all like lovey woo-woo. I hated it. And now it's like my go-to. That's like my first defense, is addressing the feelings that come up, and just talking to them like they're people, and giving them what they need, and showing them, essentially, when I was younger, I wasn't mature enough or strong enough to be in charge, so you guys took over and fragmented and kept me safe. But now I'm so evolved, and I'm so much more mature, and I'm so much stronger that I can, me as my highest self, I can actually take over. And essentially what my therapist says is, if we don't ever address this, those parts are what are running the show indefinitely, and those parts could have originated anywhere from like zero, you could have been 1 year old, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Could you imagine a 7-year-old running the show? It's not gonna be great, people. It's not gonna be great. And it wasn't for years. It was my 7-year-old fragmented self was not doing a good job. So anyways, this is great for wavering. This is great for when things come up, triggers come up. This is great for when your ego is trying to pull you back into your identity, your old identity. And it's such a like soothing, loving, easy technique. And it it takes 30 seconds. I'm usually like back in the reality that I want and I'm choosing, and I feel safe there, and I feel like It's okay to trust this. Like, this is not false. This is yeah, sometimes you could just feel like this isn't for you, or like that's for other people, or like having like a happy easy life is for other people. It's like, no, this is for me. This was created for me. This was the reality that was created for me. This is what was meant for me because I created it, because I'm all that there is. So yeah, but it's easy to believe the lies that the world and the people around you want to tell you, that you don't deserve good things or blah blah blah. Okay, now I'm rambling. I really hope this technique is helpful. It is so helpful for me, especially in like the days and weeks to follow, you know, from the time you decide you want something to the time it manifests. Oh my God. I used to be like, bing bong, ping pong, ping pong. It was miserable. I felt like a crazy person. And I still do sometimes. But when I remember to do this, I'm like even keel. Honestly, it's just amazing. Okay. Hope that makes sense. I hope that helps somebody. I gotta run because now I'm probably late for dinner for my friend's birthday. But this is good. This makes me happy. Getting this information out makes me happy, and she'll understand. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. If this was helpful to you, yay. And I'll talk to you